following program on Ada Derana 24 is classified as PG. It is intended for younger children in the company of an adult. It may contain some suggestive dialogue, infrequent coarse language, some sexual situations, or some moderate violence. Viewer discretion is advised. The following program contains opinions of the participants and does not reflect the views and beliefs of the Derana Media Network. The network believes in a safe space for all ideas to be expressed without any censorship and on its duty to create such a platform for free speech. Viewer discretion is strictly advised.
Hello and welcome to another episode of TPS, where we discuss about the most relevant and pressing conversations that shape the political future of Sri Lanka. So down this line, we've been discussing about many aspects that matter to the political environment of Sri Lanka, where the general public has posed questions to the ruling parties as well as the oppositions to make sure that their requirements are being addressed. So just as much as we've been discussing all these crucial elements, today we are going to dive into once again a very bold topic, and that is corner of opposition voices against power. So this is something with regards to opposition parties and how much crucial it is to have a powerful opposition while the government is at play, while the government is at their utmost power. So to discuss about this broad topic, we have two gentlemen over here, and towards my right I have Dr. Mahim Mendis from the Samaki Janabalawegaya. Welcome you. And to my left, I have Mr. Milinda Rajapaksha from the Sri Lanka Podu Jana Peramuna. Welcome you as well.
Thank you.
Welcoming both these gentlemen for today's program. Now we're going to dig deep into how much power that the opposition holds in the current context. So first I will direct this question to you, Dr. Mahim. Now when it comes to today's political climate, I believe as much as we have an understanding from the outward view about how the government and the opposition is coming together in politics, in your context, in your own opinion, what do you feel like the power that the opposition holds in these given circumstances?
A government has been elected with an overwhelming majority. In this context, what we have been telling the people right throughout during the election campaign and before the election campaign is now proved right, in the sense this is a regime that is unable to walk its talk. It has very clearly proved to the people who voted for them with enormous hopefulness, that this is a government lacking in credibility. What they have been saying to come to power in social, economic, political, cultural, moral frontiers of life now come to be questioned by the very people who have elected them. It was a very clear indication with the drop of, once again, a mighty drop of 2.4 million almost at the local government elections, while all the other parties, the smaller parties and the established parties, the main opposition party and parties that have been in power have been increasing its support base, gaining greater acceptability in the eyes of the people. This government lost all those votes, and very clearly the people are getting disgruntled once again. There is no doubt about that. Now, in this context, when we say opposition corners and its impact on the democratic process, as I see, all what we can say in the 7th month of the new regime is that the opposition is not going to, topple this government or work towards ousting a regime. The government is having all the support with regard to policies and principles to do what is right. Take the IMF agreement, Well, the SJB, as a principal opposition party, very clearly told the people that this arrangement with the IMF need to be renegotiated with the mandate of the people, because after the uprising, this is the first government in the post-uprising period, and the people are mandating a regime to do justice to the people, and this government has miserably failed in renegotiating the IMF agreement in the way that they have been talking about. They have gone against all what they said, and they are continuing with what Mr. Wickremesinghe said. In fact, not even doing justice to what Mr. Wickremesinghe wanted to do. They have become like a slave to the IMF and to other powers, the regional powers. We know the type of agreements that they have signed, and denying the people of this country the right to even know what type of agreements that they have signed with neighboring India. We are not anti-India as SJB. We respect India, but we want a dignified relationship. Whether it be with IMF, whether it be with India, we want a dignified relationship. There's no doubt about that. We are, we believe in positive alignment, not, the old, hack word, the non-aligned, principle. We believe in positive alignment with the world, with world powers, with the neighboring countries, with national interests uppermost. National interests without jeopardizing national interests of Sri Lanka. We believe in an honorable relationship with the international community.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mahim. I believe transparency was one particular thing that you've been exaggerating and bringing into prominence as well, which is crucial and evident that the people, the democracy also needs to see across whatever the political parties bring through in terms of the power game. So I'm going to direct the same question to you, Mr. Milinda. Now, in your context, in your opinion, what do you think about the power that the opposition holds in this given political landscape?
Thank you, Prasant. I think Dr. Mahim gave a fantastic entry to this question. I would like to take it forward from there. And first of all, I want to actually convey our sympathies to the family of late Honorable Gamini Lukuge, who has been probably one of the most veteran politicians we have today in Sri Lanka, has been a parliamentarian cabinet minister and one of the founding members of SLPP. So taking forward from where Dr. Mahim Mendis concluded the remarks, so we are an opposition. Probably today we have the most powerful opposition in Sri Lanka. I am saying that because just now I received your update from your text message that this government could have been able to establish only 200 plus few local councils in Sri Lanka. And opposition has secured more than 80, 89 somewhere local councils. So you are in a very interesting period where a government has 2/3 majority, executive presidency, more than the 2/3 majority in the parliament, overwhelming public support, which we thought they had. And you went for, very comfortably, you went for this local council election. And local council election is a very different election compared to presidential election and the general election. The simple reason, the presidential election goes with the wave. That is how it works. So barely AKD survived that election. Then, as we all expected, general election, everyone got into the car. That's how it worked. But now within 6 months after that, it's very funny, after 6 months, people understood that they were giving stories, they were lying, they were taking people on a ride, they were basically disgracing the people's ability to think, vote, decide. And people taught them a very good lesson within the period of 6 months. Nowhere in this country, in our political history, any powerful government, any government which is in power, has faced this kind of election result after 6 months of their election, or probably even after 1-2 years of their into their government. No political party has faced this kind of defeat. So I think if you are looking at from the political point of view, the numbers point of view, probably we are the most powerful opposition if we put everyone together today. Number one, that is from the people's point of view. Then you, from the political party's point of view, then you have to look at this from another point of view, whether we are active. Now a lot of people are saying Sajith Premadasa is not active enough. SLPP could have been on the road. Where is the opposition doing strikes, picketings, rallies? A lot of people are asking. Now that is not the role of the opposition. Now we have got used to this mindset of destructive opposition politics because of the people who are in power today. For years, for decades, they have taught people the opposition politics is you went against anything government is doing. You go to the court against any development. You come to the road against any problem. You come and basically destroy the development. You destruct day-to-day activities of the people. You come and basically tarnish the country's image. That is the role of opposition. That is what JP taught people. That is what we know as opposition politics now. But we, the liberal democratic political parties, it could be SJB, it could be UNP, it could be SLPP, it could be SLFP, all these political parties have one base. That is, we all are liberal democrats. When I say we have a very, we might have different ideological differences, like some are more linear toward social democracy, some are very liberal, so we might have different opinions within our democratic idea, but we all are very democratic political parties, we are very liberal political parties, and we keep the people's interest, the country's interests in the core of these programs. So I was surprised when Mr. Sajith Premadasa was interviewed in one of our YouTube programs. At the end, when I asked what is the message for SJBs, you know, I expected him to say, now come rally together, let's finish the government, you know, everyone, let's work together. That's you expect from the opposition leader, you know. And he said, support the government. If you are in a, because we asked, can you tell a message to Sri Lankans live abroad, SJBs? He said, support the government. Send money to Sri Lanka. Try to rebuild the country. If you know good investors, bring them to Sri Lanka. And I was recalling what Sunil Handunnetti told at that time. I was recalling what Chaturanga, my good friend, told at that time. I was recalling what Bimal Ratnayaka was telling all the foreign Sri Lankans. Don't send money. Put the country in a problem. We will come and solve the problem. But today opposition leader was telling something different. Same I told, because he is the opposition leader, even though Dr. Mahim would have been backed on behalf of him. But that is the opposition leader we have. I have a respect for that. I told I have never agreed with you. I will never vote for you. But I respect the way you are giving a new meaning to the role of opposition leader. And the same with our camp Namal. We fight for what is wrong, but we are with what is right. We never go around, gossiping about the country. We are not walking around. If you look at how Namal talked in number of international forums in India and in many other places, that came to enact because our Honorable Minister Sunil Handunnetti recently was at the World Economic Forum. So, you know, talking on behalf of I don't know whom, but even when Namal went to other countries and spoke about the country, never criticized Sri Lanka, never talked ill of the government, because we want government to do well, because this is not their country, this is not the SJB country, this is our country. So we want government to do well, do right for the people, do what is best for the country. We will support that. But what they promised to people, what they agreed to do, the agenda they put forward to get votes, is completely denied now. It's completely out of their table now. Today we are in a position where you can't even define this country whether they have a market-oriented policy, whether they have a socialist policy, whether they have a communist policy. You don't even know what they are doing, because every morning they will play according to the populist idea. This is the danger. If you look at in the politics, the most dangerous ideology in politics is the populism. Everything else comes after that. But if your party and the leaders play for the popular game, just doing the things to make, to fulfill the populist agenda, then we are in a very dangerous situation. That is the political danger we are in today.
Thank you so much, Mr. Milinda. I believe that was a lot of wealth of knowledge, and even the spectators who are watching, it is the teeny tiny details that you referred to actually matter, and also you emphasized how important the opposition is and how the role of the opposition has a vital attribution in terms of the government and also the politics. And that's something you and I, we really need to think through, because it's not about fighting, quarreling and conflicting, but then again working towards the development together for the country. So we will discuss further on how powerful is the opposition and what role it has in the current political landscape of Sri Lanka. Before that, let's take a short commercial break. This is TPS. Welcome back to TPS, where we were discussing about how important it is to have the power of opposition in terms of Sri Lankan politics as well. So now I'm going to direct this question with regards to party politics, both the parties that these gentlemen represent. So I want to ask from you, Dr. Mahim, when it comes to the rising voter dissatisfaction and the NPP's earlier momentum now fading, as Mr. Milinda also mentioned, how is the SJB planning in terms of repositioning yourself and gaining the trust of the general public? Now, since NPP's momentum is a little bit degrading as well, and this could be an opportunity to make sure that your party regains the trust of the people and get into much more involvement. In this context, what is your party planning ahead?
Now, we have very clearly made it very clear as to what we believe in the social, political, economic, cultural sectors of life, and our policies are inspired by a social democratic perspective. We are not a rightist, extreme rightist party. We are not an extreme leftist party. We believe in a dynamic private sector. We believe in capitalist principles to generate wealth. We believe in socialist principles for redistribution of wealth. Hence, we are a social democratic alternative to this government, which calls itself a Marxist-inspired government, but the most rightist, extreme rightist regime that we have seen in the post-independence Sri Lanka. Now, ideological positioning is very, very important. It's true that SJB has people with varying, ideas, but our leader has never ever contradicted himself as to what he believes in with regard to the economic frontier, on social welfare, on constitutional reforms, on foreign policy, and on judicial reforms. We have never ever contradicted. As a leader, Sajith Premadasa has taken a very, very principled position, and if there is an administration led by Sajith Premadasa, there is no doubt whatsoever that those principles will be adhered to, and there will be credibility of that regime, what is lacking right now with regard to this NPP regime. We don't want to talk about one thing in the morning and another thing in the evening. So right now, as an opposition party, as Milinda also explained, and I'm extremely grateful to Milinda for his his appreciation of the leader of the opposition, Sajith Premadasa, that is, while he is true to his party, he said that this is not a leadership that will find fault with the regime unnecessarily. In Parliament, we know very clearly that we are extremely active in pinpointing the deficiencies of this regime, and we will continue to do so. But we will never go into the streets right now because the government is in the 7th month. We don't want to be an obstructionist, a force that is destructive. What the Janata Vimukti Peramuna excelled in from 1965 up to the point that they became a political regime. We should tell all what we want to tell, even in a public forum, is that the liberal, democratic, inspired parties like my friend's party, the Pohotua, the SJB, the UNP, we all believe in the spirit of the Aragalaya, which is for regime change, which will lead to attitudinal change, system change, individual and social system change based on attitudinal transformation. That is very clear. So right now, as the party that commands the greatest respect this moment of time, that I do not say arrogantly, we may be more successful, we may be less successful. Right now, as the largest opposition party, we want to unite and work together even in Parliament as the opposition, like what we do in the local government elections. In the aftermath of the local government elections, we wanted to see how convergence of ideas can arise in the absence of a clear mandate for the NPP regime. So we have absolutely no problem in coming together with the parties that have ruled the country previously, like Pohotua, in agreeing to a program of work, even at local government elections, local government regimes, how we can uplift the conditions of the people. We do not want to engage in adversarial policies, even with regard to what the government is trying to do. We want to work closely with the government in ensuring that there is justice for the people. We are not going to use the local councils that we have formed, nearly 90 of them from the opposition. We don't want to be an obstructionist force that will just be critical of what the government is trying to do at the central government level. We want to cooperate. And we also see recently we were in China. I think Milinda and I had, a role to play as part of the delegation representing two different parties on the invitation of the Communist Party Central Committee in China. And we saw that this country has signed many different, at local government level, many sister, link programs, linking of cities, Shanghai and Beijing with Colombo, and all these things have happened. But because of basically adversarial ideas and politics, none of these things could be taken into a logical conclusion. We would like to see how these programs can be revived, how we can ensure that there's a win-win situation, working together in harmony, win-win situation. Of course, we will, at the same time, that doesn't mean that we are going to be so cooperative with the government, we will forget the role of the opposition. That is not the case. We will defend our ideas, we will stand by our policies, we will ensure that what should be corruption of the government, we see that, enormous corruption is taking place right now, like in the case of those containers that were released without any shame, right? We are asking the government, you did that to please whom? Whom are you pleasing? Well, you are working against the interests of the state. You are working against your own principles. you're working against the people of this country. We will continue to do that. We will continue to raise these issues in the health sector, in the energy sector, with regard to the environment, with regard to education, where the Minister of Education is also the Prime Minister, and I represent the education sector. We are asking Harini Amarasuriya, as Prime Minister, what have you achieved for the education sector? University lecturers are being fooled. We are misled. There is currently a salary anomaly with regard to their budgetary, what they introduce in the budget. And we have been told by the Prime Minister, who is the Minister of Education, that by 31st May, all the problems connected with the anomalies will be solved. And 31st May came. Miss Harini Amarasuriya, the Prime Minister, Honorable Prime Minister, not only failed to solve the anomalies problem, but also could not even apologize to the academic community for not being able to fulfill the very promises she gave the academic community. So we are asking now, she is the minister in charge of early childhood education to primary and secondary and tertiary and vocational education. So many things we have been talking about as an academic community who are involved in politics. Harini Amarasuriya comes from the same university that I work for, Open University, and Social Studies Department. We have been working together. We ask the Prime Minister, what have you achieved for the education sector that you are passionately talking about with regard to 6% GDP on education, with regard to the dignity of the universities as an institution, with regard to interference, political interference at the level of councils, and recalling people who have been asking the universities to re-advertise, Vice Chancellor positions and so on and so forth. Well, there is enormous political interference in the running of these ministries. We will continue to fight about these things, and we are giving the government adequate time to solve, because it is their responsibility to be true, at least to the academic community, because the Prime Minister herself is representing the academic community in Parliament, and today representing the people of this country. We are asking them to be true to their own words. Protect your credibility. And the Prime Minister has miserably failed to protect her credibility as an academic, bringing shame to the academic community.
Thank you so much, Mr. Dr. Mahim. When it comes to now this context of understanding how the opposition is handling certain situations given the spectrums of education, energy, the day-to-day activities, Dr. Mahim mentioned how it is crucial to be transparent and how to walk the talk at the end of the day, because that's what's essential. If you give about a statement, you're supposed to live up to it. So I'm going to direct this question to Mr. Milinda. Now, when it comes to the response that was given by Doctor as well, now in your context, in your party's position with the economic collapse as well, and from there onwards, SLPP has been facing conditions with regards to the trust, transparency and the accountability. And just as much as the NPP has not obtained a majority and has been having that disinterest continuously from the general public. Now, from your party, what are the party plans and how are you all focusing on the positive aspect of this degrading situation, where you can make sure that the people have so much of trust on the opposition and people's voice can be heard through the opposition party?
See, now I think SLPP is one of the smallest political parties in the parliament now with 3 seats in hand. But if you look at News in the Night, or if you look at any other YouTube channel, you would probably think we are one of the biggest opposition parties because of the way we fight in the parliament. And not only in the parliament, we were fighting from the very first day. Even Milinda Rajapaksha got only less than 2% in the presidential election. From that day we kept fighting. That is why we achieved 10% of people's trust during this election. That is also with the disadvantage of at least 1 million of SLPP hardcore members not going to the polling booth. So that is the reality of our party today. And we still keep fighting on the ground, throughout the country, in media, in social media. We have been continuing so we have to fight two battles here, no? Actually 3 battles. Number 1, we have to fight our own battle to bring back our party supporters. Yeah. Because the SLPP party supporters were the first to go out and vote for NPP. And today most of them are disgruntled. They feel that they were cheated. They feel that they were misguided. But that doesn't mean that they will walk back to SJB or SLPP. Because we need a proper program, proper direction, a much better program for them to come back to us. And I am scared, Doctor, whether as politicians we are increasingly losing the public trust because of the recent incidents in the last few decades. If you look at this after the Aragalaya, how the NPP came to power, I thought that is one of the crucial political movement of this country, because people trusted AKD's story. People thought AKD is telling the truth. People thought they are putting actually, intellectual, smart people who knows what they are doing. People expected that to happen because people were tired after the Aragalaya and all that. And the way this government destroyed that trust within few months, I am scared whether people would not only dislike NPP or AKD, whether they will lose the trust of political system of this country. That is the worry I have sometimes. So now if we come back to our second struggle as a political party, is to fight against thousands of false allegations made against us. So this government came to power with some of the most popular stories like $1 billion in Uganda, how this government will send a team to bring back $18 billion, of which Milinda Rajapaksha owned and kept in other countries, bring back, and using that money how they are going to reduce electricity bill, the fuel bill, the gas bill. Those stories are the stories which brought millions of voters to support AKD. These are not jokes. These were told with the stories, with check numbers, with receipt numbers, with files in hand. This drama was created in a way it is award-winning drama. AKD won the award at the end, becoming the president of this country. And today, unfortunately in this country, so when you accuse someone, according to our constitution, the burden is with the people who accused. So today AKD and his team has a duty, utmost responsibility to prove what they said, to go to Uganda and find this money, to go abroad and bring this money back. They can't just say now, no, the money is hidden such a way that we can't find it. They were stealing such a way that it is difficult to do the inquiries. And today what has happened? The biggest known joke today is putting the blame on government officials. Government is thrashing government officials in COP meetings. In any meeting, government is very leisurely go out and say, no, these public servants are corrupted. They are not doing work. You are basically breaking down the backbone of the country. For last 76 years, the public service has continued. That is the institutional memory of this country. And you just put them into jail, just bring them to harassment, ridicule them at the parliament. You are breaking the backbone of the country. And so today we have that burden too, as a political party. So we were pushed by thousands of allegations which doesn't have a foundation, which doesn't have a single document to prove, single story to prove. And in this country, unfortunately, when you are accused, now accused has to prove that you are innocent, not the people who are making allegations. So that is the second challenge we are facing, but we are facing it every day. I think I can very openly tell that they will most probably put Namal Rajapaksha into the jail. She is the political leader. We can very clearly say where this government is coming to. They are coming to very authoritarian regime, which is becoming day by day. That is something we all expected, Doctor. We said that is where they will end up, and the democracy will vanish slowly. We all told this, and today it is happening step by step. The way they are manipulating the institutions, we will face that. We have faced much worse situations in this country. We have came back, we have done our duty, and we will face that. That is the second situation.
Mr. Milinda, I will be cutting you short for a commercial break. We'll go to the third aspect after the break. So we've been discussing about how powerful is the opposition and how the opposition can make sure that the people's matters are being brought forward and are addressed, while as the government has been promising and also contradicting to what they say, as per these gentlemen, and how it is in the long run towards the political concerns of Sri Lanka. So we will dig deep into the aspect of this broad topic in the next segment. Before that, let's take a short commercial break. This is TPS. Welcome back to TPS. We were discussing about how the SLPP will work ahead in terms of taking this as an opportunity, and also Mr. Milinda was also emphasizing about the different types of struggles they have to face as a political party. So I stopped you with the third segment, so you can continue with it and also give a closing remark to our spectators about how the opposition can really address their needs and how people need to be open-minded with regards to understanding the opposition as well.
No, third one is the common challenge we all are facing today. That's I think we are living in largely a blind nation. I thought with the time, with the media, especially with access to social media, our country is becoming more and more politically aware. I thought especially the younger generation is becoming more logical. I thought a new generation will have a much deep conversations about the politics and the states. That is what I was expecting. That's what I thought the country is coming to, which is unfortunately not, I must say. The country is becoming more blind to fake news. The country is becoming more manipulated by the fake narratives. Unfortunately, the deep political conversation is diluting. It's dominated by hundreds of the social media armies maintained by Palavat social media team. You know, the way they attack, the way they abuse, the way it's much bigger abuse than happening on the road. You know, they don't even allow. So we have hundreds of cases where so many of our supporters, so many of good social media influencers in our camps, in opposition, get abused, get threatened calls, get harassed on social media by these small armies they have paid and put into social media platforms. So that's the common challenge we all are facing today, because the political harassment and the political abuse is coming in a new form. It is not only they are taking you to CID or custody or beat you up on the road. It's the mental trauma they are giving. It's the threat they are giving on social media. The phone calls you are receiving. It's playing in a different level. And unfortunately, as I said, we are living in such a blind society. Because 66.8 million people have voted for NPP, at least 4-5 million people now think they have to protect the government. They think, we voted, no. Now it is our responsibility to, protect them. So you blindly protect the government. You blindly wash whatever they say. So I think we are living in a postmodern society. You don't have to do that. You don't have to protect Rajapakshas. You don't have to protect Premadasas. You don't have to protect NPP. Be logical. Look at the truth. Look at the facts. Let's bring a decent political conversation to this country. Let's argue. Today I said what I feel right about SJB opposition leader. And I have criticized him in 100 other places. So let's do that politics where the democracy is valued, we protect that, and the political intellectuality is respected more than attacking others, more than threatening others, more than abusing others. So let's come together for that political culture, and I thank Derana for promoting that, bringing everyone together. Thank you very much for that too.
Thank you so much, Mr. Milinda. When it comes to this aspect, it's always, as he stated, it's always good to be logical in this 21st century, because again, in the day, we can't be looking at the past situations and predicting as to what will happen in the future, but rather we need to see it with an open mind as spectators and absolutely understanding what democratic values are. So as a closing remark, Doctor, what do you think now, given that the times have changed and everything when it comes to the opposition, even in the global aspect, opposition has a great power when it comes to representing the community, the people. And in this context of Sri Lanka, what do you think that could have been differently done? And also, what could have the people thought through when it comes to relying on the opposition just as much as the government?
While the government, as I very clearly stated earlier, has failed to safeguard credibility in governance, even in Parliament, we see that they are not very favorable to controversial debates with regard to whatever that we have proposed in recent times on the Iran-Israel crisis. We saw how the government was reluctant to have openness with regard to what the government believes in and what the opposition believes in. Now, in this issue itself, we want to tell the people that a government is there to ensure that the dignity of the people is safeguarded. With regard to the Indo-Lanka, the accords that have been signed, very clearly the intelligentsia of this country, the professional community of this country, people with independent minds should understand that this government was never given a mandate to ensure that what has been signed through 10 agreements with India should be kept secret. Even under the right to information, we see it was not possible for, I can remember Pubudu Jagoda explaining to the media how it was almost near impossible for him to gain access to information relating to the 10 agreements signed with India. The government should consider it is obligation, as its obligation, to reveal what it has signed. We believe in decent relations, dignified relations with our powerful neighbor. But we do not believe in becoming a tail of the powerful neighbor. The president should understand that Sri Lanka is not a colony of India. And it is he should not be talking as if the chief minister of an Indian colony. It is in the best interest of the government that credibility of governance is safeguarded. Also, with regard to these crucial issues, as I said, the wars that took place between Pakistan and India, between Israel and Iran, we need to state our position. We believe in the best possible relations with Iran, Israel, Pakistan and India, for instance, but it is in the interest of the people of this country that they stand for a peaceful settlement without unduly taking one side, not to be seen as supporting India against Pakistan. This government failed miserably in ensuring that the position it took is an honorable position that will build peace, and Sri Lanka is on the side of peace and not on the side of India against Pakistan or Pakistan against India. We can be a country with difficulties right now, but our dignity as a country that is able to mediate peace, like in the way Jaya Jayawardena in the San Francisco conference, peace conference, when the whole world came to punish Japan, Jaya Jayawardena took the position that Japan should not be unduly punished. We should help rebuild Japan, and we should forgive and forget. And that was the type of position that we expect the current government to take. I can remember on the Israel interest section, the President Ranasinghe Premadasa knew very well the sensitivities connected with the Arab world, and we should not be entertaining the Israeli interest section in Sri Lanka. Though we wanted military or other help, we were very, very sensitive to the matter and wanted the Israeli interest section to go away from this country. Similarly, the Indo-Lanka Accord and the Indian peacekeeping troops, we wanted Sri Lanka's dignity be maintained, because Indo-Lanka Accord, though some principles relating to the Indo-Lanka Accord, power sharing, is honorable, the manner in which it came to be imposed was dishonorable, and our president, Ranasinghe Premadasa at that time, had the backbone, the mind and the spine to take a principal position. We are reminding Anura Kumara Dissanayake and the NPP government, which calls itself a powerfully mandated government, to be true to the very dignity that it stood for or talked about when they were in opposition. We should not fail our people. We should not be seen as a country that has undermined its own status under a so-called powerful government. That is what I can say.
Thank you so much, Dr. Mahim. I believe that was a very crucial take-home message from these two gentlemen as well when it comes to the political concerns and how much strong the opposition could be in terms of delivering the best for the community. And also at the end, it is crucial for the people to look through every aspect in politics with an open mind, while being logical. Because at the end of the day, if we see the opposition as a weakness or opposition as a challenge, it will not be as crucial and something that's beyond purposeful. So it's always necessary to have a strong government, wills a strong opposition, so they together align well and bring about the democratic values and the purposes for the people. So once again, I wanted to thank Dr. Mahim Mendis from the Samagi Jana Balawegaya and also Mr. Milinda Rajapaksha from the Sri Lanka Podu Jana Perumana. Thank you so much for joining us for today's program. We've been discussing about how the opposition has the power to do something different, to challenge the government and to be a change maker. So make sure to send your feedback to this program and also all the other programs to feedback.ad24english@derana.lk, our email address, and also via WhatsApp at 076-8057-933. With the hopes of seeing you again, we will be winding up for today's episode. This is TPS, and see you with another episode.
Baby, bye, bye, bye. Don't wanna be a fool for you. Just another player in the